There are several things notable about this level. One, this almost feels more like a clock tower than the previous level, which is the real clock tower. Because this level is cheap. This level is unbelievably cheap. There is almost no cheaper level in this game. But aside from that, this is the Super Nintendo version of, I think his name is Duran, a guy who carries his head around and tries to stab you with his skeletal cock. That's his existence. So to some extent, I actually pity the poor man. To some extent. But I don't pity him because the venue in which you actually meet him for the first time, and only time in this game, is a downward moving level. So if you don't have the holy water, it's not that you're fucked, it's just very inconvenient to get anywhere. But that doesn't even begin to cover what this level is going to do to you. This part's easy. I can't say I recommend one way or the other getting any of these candles, because you're likely going to die in the next section anyway. And getting them is easy enough, you just diagonally whip as you move along. I did all of them once, I believe, without being caught, but boy do you sweat. You're never sure if they're actually going to hit you. Yes, I got my ass kicked pretty hard, but there aren't really many enemies to speak of in the next area.
Damn it!
No, the next area has something entirely different and wonderful for you. That spiky thing rolling around at the bottom, that giant free rolling testicle that has spines, yes, that is instant death, and it chases you up the vast majority of this tower. And if you screw up, you will die. There is no way around it. If you screw up and you fall, if you do not just continue without mistake upward momentum, you will be raped by that thing. And there's no such thing as justice in this game. There's only you didn't get fucked. So you will know what it's like to be someone's hooker. And in this case, you'll get to find out what it's like to be an inanimate object's hooker. But once you reach this area, it's not so bad. It doesn't chase you anymore, I believe. The difficulty here is that there are spikes on the platforms. Eventually you'll hit a ceiling that also has spikes, of course. It's much more difficult to avoid. And I'm both lazy and not exactly sure how to describe it, but if you don't want to die, just look and see what I do, and it's not too bad. It really isn't too bad. Once you know the safe route. Certainly you don't want to get really, really happy and start jumping around. Jumping around in here leads to death. This is not Mario. Jumping does not solve shit in this game. Jumping is an occasional tool to get you to a place you need to go. And that place is up here. If you do this level right, it's not long. It really isn't. If you do this level wrong, it's very long. It's painfully long, because you keep having to do the same shit over and over again, and it's not fun. I hate this level. I hate this level more than the torture room. But once you get through it, you get to this really cool, like, fancy section of the castle. 3 boss fights in a row, and then Dracula. And 2 of these boss fights are the introduction of Symphony of the Night regulars. Slorga and Gabon, I believe, are their names. This is Slorga, the dinosaur skeleton with a spear. And he knows how to use it. He's not difficult. He's not difficult. But you can very easily mess up the pattern. You just want to whip him, move, because he goes invincible after the first hit. He's much, much more dangerous than you'll ever see him in a later game that I know of. He's a pain in the ass when he lands and decides, instead of, you know, aiming, taking really good aim at your crotch, actually just dive at it blindly. But he's really not difficult. I will say, however, that of the 3 bosses you fight here, he is the most difficult. Gaben is much easier, especially if you have, say, the axe. Not that you should. You should always have the cross if possible. I had nothing. But that should tell you something about this game. Like all other Castlevanias, the extra weapons are just kind of a consolation prize when you get through. They make the bosses a little bit easier than they already are. In most cases. Now, he is basically the same as Symphony of the Night, only he has more of a flight pattern. He'll turn red, he'll go apeshit, but it's really just him blowing smoke. He's far easier than Slorga. I hit him a couple of times because, well, I forgot exactly what he does. And I just got a little greedy. That was my first try on him. So that'll tell you something. Yes, I did get really excited there. And I am not ashamed of it. The Grim Reaper's a little trickier. If you fall out of pattern, you're probably gonna die. We'll just be straight up about that. But his room is creepy to me. His appearance is awesome. He is, without doubt, one of the most badass versions of the Grim Reaper. Now there's a couple ways you can go about this. You can try to get the timings so that every time he throws a scythe, you strike it, destroy it, and hit him. I didn't have that much confidence in my aim. I'm not like you kids out there who have ridiculous reaction time because you were born with really advanced video games. I'm getting old. So I took kind of the cheap, easy way out, and for the most part I just used the whip as a shield from his scythes, which are very, very fast. He's not as difficult as the Grim Reaper from the original, and I don't remember exactly what the Grim Reaper in Castlevania 3 does. However, I will say, the Grim Reaper in this, when he hits you, you get a really fucking cool graphical effect. It's like this red energy shit that gets all over you and rapes you. I almost feel bad having bagged the Reaper since he is my favorite Castlevania boss. But this will take you to Dracula.